Today on the OnStage Black Theater podcast, we are talking about 700 shows, which is a lot, but it's going to be fun. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Onstage Black Theater podcast. And today we're doing a bit of a catch up episode. We haven't done one of these for a while. We've had really topic themed. So this might seem a little random, but it's going to be fun. And I am theater critic Rachel Wagner, and Jacqueline Collier's here.
Hello, Rachel. So I was bragging to you, bragging about you. I'm sure I've bragged to you before, but I was bragging about you to a dear friend of mine named Jennifer McKenna, who
Uh-huh.
hopefully the audience will get to know soon because I think she'd be great on this show. But I was telling her she wrote this beautiful piece about how art and going to see theater, it is reciprocal. Going to see it is being creative. You're part of the creative process. You are creating. It's a co-creation. And I was like, let me tell you about my friend who saw 700 shows. And so
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited. You were the kind of critic who you have a discerning eye. And it's not like you're just like, oh my gosh, everything's amazing, but you uplift artists. And I think you do it in a really incredible, authentic way. And I'm so excited to catch up and dive into this with you today.
Well, thank you very much for that. And it's been an incredible journey. So basically, this last month, I crossed the 700 shows since the pandemic, since I started keeping track, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm actually now at 721. So that's my current number. Last week, I saw 7 shows, which is wild. Because I had 2 days where I had 2 shows. And one of those was the our friend Jordan Long, his Leona Shakespeare Festival, which was unbelievable. So it was 2 like junior productions, but it counts. It still counts.
What girl, 100% counts.
Yes.
If
And
you're seeing
so
seven one-act plays in a festival, I would count each one of those.
well, I didn't do that. I could have
Yeah.
for like for Fringe, or something like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, so I what a journey for 700 shows. I It all started because I was like really upset and traumatized, as most of our listeners will have been, about the closing of the theaters and closing of Broadway. And it was very upsetting. It was something I never thought would have happened. Like, I remember when they first announced the movie theaters were closing, I was like, oh. I remember when they first announced the movie theaters was closing, they said that they'd be closed for 2 weeks. And I was like, 2 weeks? No way. They'd be closed for 2 weeks. And then ended up being a year. And we opened a lot sooner here in Utah than other places, which I'm very grateful for. But still, it was definitely a rough time, and I was scared that it was going to be fatal. That we would never be able to recover after that kind of a blow. And so I just said to myself, like, I'm going to do anything I can to support theater once it opens again. And so I got my vaccination at the time, and you had to wait 2 weeks at the time, that was the recommendation. So I waited the 2 weeks, and then I went and saw Les Miserables at Hale Center Theater, and they were the only theater in the world putting it on Les Mis at that time, which is kind of amazing.
What a
And
show.
I just felt like that was such kismet, that the show that inspired me in my love of Broadway. It was the first musical outside of The Little Mermaid as far as movies, but it was the first Broadway musical I ever really loved. And that would be the first one back after this traumatic time period. And after that, I just started seeing 3 or more shows every week. And I wasn't planning on becoming a theater critic or doing any of that, but I wanted to spread the word. That was the whole point, right? And so I
Mhm.
started writing about theater and on my just personal blog at the time. And then I started writing for UTBA, Utah Theater Bloggers Association, and I that was an incredible experience. I did that for 2 years, and I started doing Theater Tuesdays, try again just to try to get the word out and
Mm.
have these productions. And it's just been an incredible experience all around. I mean, these incredible small hole in the ground places that have been amazing have these great experiences like the Pleasant Grove Players that they have this tiny little theater in the Pleasant Grove Library, and the quality of the productions you wouldn't believe. They are so good. And and then of course, I mean, then everything in between, everything from your national tours to Hale Center
Mm.
Theater, which is always top of of our area, going down to Tuacahn, Utah Shakespeare Festival, but then also things like the Sanctuary Company, which was in this, like, I'm sure, I don't know if they could have passed code. It was a little sketchy, but like, that was part of the
We
fun
weren't
of
about
it.
to we weren't about to ask them to. We
Yeah.
weren't about to. We're like,
It's
just
like,
keep creating.
um, they literally had like a tarp and like, open to the air. And I mean, and we saw You Would Love the Musical there, and I saw Avenue Q there, and that was incredible. I can't overstate what an awe-inspiring experience it's been to be able to see people. Um, I can't overstate what an awe-inspiring experience it has been to witness people's art, and to
Yeah.
support theater in this way. It's just been overwhelming.
Well, and Rachel, you've been such a huge advocate for it. And I think when you're talking about when everything shut down during the pandemic, I know a lot of people were discussing in New York how, 9/11, it was like after that, yes, the theaters were shut down for that day, but we came back as quickly as possible. And it's like this pandemic was like, we don't even know how to deal with this in a way that like we can't even use our normal coping mechanisms that we've used before, which
Yeah,
is
that
like
was the
theater
thing.
and going to the movies. It's like,
Yeah,
whoa,
I
okay.
couldn't even go to church.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, don't we love a Zoom church? Don't we love a virtual play? Like there were so many things that we were doing. And when you're talking about the first show that you saw coming back, I had seen the first one I saw coming back was Waitress, which felt
Oh,
really
that'd be a good
significant
one.
to me because Nick Cordero had been in the show before he passed away and died from COVID. And he was really, um, I think, he and his wife, Amanda Kloots, were a real inspiration to lots of people
Yeah.
throughout COVID and as ways to bring the theater community and the larger community um, together as well.
Well, and
So I
just the
think it's
resilience of that show, it really feels like the perfect show to see coming back out of that experience because it's all about being a survivor and pulling through and having the guts to make the change in her life. That's what makes the ending so moving. And that's why
yeah.
it's never felt like a cheating movie, even though she does cheat, is
I
because
know
it's
you're
not.
so right, Rachel.
Yeah, it's not did I say movie? I'm at show, of course. But
And
that
movie, and it is a movie too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a movie, but that it's about her. It never is saying like this is a great thing that she's doing, having this affair. It's saying that she's kind of a desperate woman, and
Mhm.
by the end, she has become anew,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
perfect for that moment when we all needed survive.
Oh
So
my goodness.
that was a cool one to be your first one back. And I mean, I think in some ways, Les Mis even has some of those same themes when you think about it.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
Jean Valjean is definitely a survivor.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's just,
um,
and they're two incredibly moving shows that it's like, we're back, baby.
yeah. So it's been a wild ride, and I am so grateful. This year, I have seen 71 shows this year. Which is wild, but very, very, very fun. And so, what I thought would be fun is to rank the shows that I've seen the most. So I have the 20 shows that I've seen the most. And this is a combination of these shows are done a lot in Utah, and also there a lot of them are just the shows that I like. So so I go see them a lot because one of
Yes,
the
please.
I guess weird things about me is that I don't mind repetition if it's something I love
Yeah.
at all. Like I just have a brain built to be a critic because
Yes.
as a critic, you have to participate in the same activity, and if it's different films, different theater, over and over and over again. And
Mm.
so you have to have, I think, to be really good at it, in my opinion, you have to have a certain tolerance for repetition and the same themes over and again, and especially someone like me who reviews Hallmark movies, and people watch them and they're like, how can you watch the same basic movie over and over and over again? I'm like, I don't care. I enjoy it. If it's something I like, it doesn't matter to me. And so I am, I think, uniquely situated in as far as my talents to to do this.
There's something about repetition that is very calming, but also you're seeing it. There's always something new to see.
Yeah,
Even
that's
the
a good point.
same quote unquote production,
Yeah,
there's going to be new little things every night, even if the performers are very consistent. You're
yeah,
also in a room with different people. That's the beautiful, like, ephemeral thing about theater is that it's never going to be what it is in that moment, even because the people in the audience are different. It's
yeah.
always going to be different each time.
Well, and I also wanted to give like a little bit of encouragement because I actually, the one thing I do struggle with is that I actually struggle sometimes being an audience member because I am a natural fidgeter. And it's hard for me sometimes, especially for a longer play, to just sit and not move at all. And people these days expect, I feel like they expect theater to be like a church situation or a library, like absolutely quiet and still. And sometimes that can be very stressful for me. And I think that's one reason why I love something like Evil Dead the Musical was so fun because you could just relax and just it was wild and fun. And but if you're somebody that thinks I can't really go to the theater because I don't want to be a nuisance to other people, I don't want to bother people, I would say go and you will learn ways to adapt, and you will learn ways to be able to participate and overcome challenges that might make you not the ideal audience member.
I love Rachel. First of all, I think that's very self-aware, and also I relate to it because, but actually, it's actually taking me longer than it's taking you to realize it. I'm a little bit of a fidgeter, but I'm definitely a I cross and uncross my legs. I move, and
Uh-huh.
like I've noticed that, especially in something that is quieter, I will like I was at a show the other day and I could feel the guy in front of me kind of be like, what's going on? Not even critical, but just like what's happening back there. It's like, yeah, I just really cannot sit completely still. So I do my best.
Yeah,
We're
you do
doing our
your
best.
best and then
We're doing
you
our best.
yeah. And I think that's really important. And so if you're somebody who feels like, oh, live theater's not for me because fill in the blank, say don't do that. Go and you'll find a way to you'll find your people, you'll find your company that is supportive of you, that doesn't mind if you have tics or if you have, you'll find your people that you can sit next to who are understanding, all of that
You'll find your
stuff.
dearest friend because you're both just fidgeting and
Right.
it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
exactly. Yes.
We're both like just moving every body part we have. It's, you know what?
Yeah.
Find a fidgety friend.
Yes, that's right. All right. So like I said, I made a list of the 20 shows that I've seen the most out of those 700, and then I ranked them. And so this is a combination of shows that are performed a lot. I mean, they're all performed a lot, obviously, I wouldn't have seen them. But then also ones that I just love. And so I've seen them a lot, so combination. But I thought it would be fun and a way to talk about a bunch of different shows and my experiences. So, and number 20, my number 20 is a show I've seen 7 times, and it's The Little Mermaid. And so I have that 20 because I think it's such a terrible adaptation. I mean, obviously the stuff from the original movie is good, and it was like my favorite movie growing up. So that's part of it why it was so disappointing, such a bad adaptation. But all the new songs are not great, and the story choices they made are just bizarre. Flounder in love with Ariel. Why? I will never
I'm
understand
sorry,
that. Like,
why?
what? It's so
I
bizarre.
don't, this is not the love triangle I need or want.
Yeah.
What is
They also
happening?
portray Flounder as being like, kind of young. So
Yeah.
it's like really weird that this young he's like in love with Ariel, which I mean she's also young, but like they portray, I think, Flounder in the musical as like a child.
I agree. And I think that I think a cool thing if they want to implement it is more of that like little brother protective energy.
Uh-huh.
Not I'm in like
Yeah.
maybe like I'm suspicious of Prince Eric because I love you and I don't want you to get hurt and I want you all for me in a non like romantic sense.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I think the best experience that I have with The Little Mermaid was in Bluffdale Arts, which is the one I'm going to tonight for Prime Prejudice. They have a no cut rule, and so they anybody who wants to participate, they will find something for you to do. And for The Little Mermaid, they had an insane turnout, and there were literally over 200 in this cast participating, over 200, and that was mostly little kids. And so every single song had like all of these little kids, like little toddlers, like little kids in various costumes. Like Positivity had like all these little kids as seagulls, and it was adorable and really cute. So that was the best Little Mermaid that I've seen. The worst I won't say because I don't want to embarrass, but there was a
You
production.
know who you are.
You know who you are. There was a production that I just don't know what the director was thinking. For some reason, they decided to portray Ariel as like shy and awkward. I mean, she is a little awkward, I guess, but she was soft spoken and kind of whispering, and like the girl could sing when she actually was able to
Yeah.
sing. It was such an odd choice. Like I have never seen Ariel portrayed as like an introvert like this, you know. And it
Oh,
was it was so weird. And then the Eric, it was rough, and I was just like, what is going on? Because it's a learning company, but it's usually not that bad. And so I was looking up the program. And of course, they only had a digital program, so I was looking on it, and I was like, I gotta know what is going on with this Eric. And he wasn't planning on auditioning. He went with his girlfriend, and they were like, hey, do you want to be in The Little Mermaid?
I love this also to be a man in theater.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
It
want to be
was,
in The Little
woo!
Mermaid? He's like, I guess so. Whereas, like, we have, even in learning companies and community theaters, we have like, at least 10 Ariels that are perfect for the part. And you know what? That's just the way the cookie crumbled, baby. That's
Yeah,
just how
it
it is.
is. It is. All right. So number 19 for me is actually Emma. And this is a little bit of a cheat because I've seen like the musical a couple times. I've seen various different iterations because obviously it's public domain, so people can do what they want. So technically, I've seen like a lot of different versions of Emma, but it's still, in the end of the day, Emma. In fact, the last version I saw was so strange. It was, they turned her into this. It was like this fan fiction version of Emma, where they have like, for instance, this whole sequence with her insulting Miss Bates is turned into this like, oh well, it's turned into this feminist mantra that the only reason she said that was because she wasn't educated enough, and that women should be educated. And they had this whole speech about women and education, and so you missed like the entire scene with Knightley berating her, which it's like they forgot the plot as far as the romance and turned it into this into this
Right,
female
right.
empowerment piece. It was like, what is going on? I did not like it at
It's
all.
so funny because sometimes you're like, look, I love a female empowerment piece. as much as the next feminist, but like you're like, what story are we
Don't even
telling here?
call it Emma at a certain point if you're not even going to
Don't
have like
call it.
iconic scenes, if you're going to
Yes.
ignore the romance, like it was bizarre. No, and that
Give
was
the
probably
people
the
what they want.
worst. That is probably the worst of the Emmas that I've seen. So the best I think that I've seen of Emma is the production at the Parker. They do a Jane Austen every year, and they just announced their season next for this next season, and that they're doing Northanger Abbey, which I'm so excited about because I've just even in film, there's only been one major version of Northanger Abbey. It's so weird. It's like how
Yeah.
many Pride and Prejudice, how many, and in a lot of ways, I think Northanger Abbey is the most cinematic of them all.
Yeah,
And
that
so
is interesting.
it's really weird. So anyway, I'm super excited about that, and we're gonna do a season episode where we look at
Yes.
because Hale announced their season, the Ruth announced their season, like a ton of companies have announced their 2027 seasons. So we could have a lot of fun talking about those. But anyway, so that's where I have Emma. I've seen it 6 times and since. So number 18, it's an interesting one. I actually have Christmas Carol at 18. I love the story of Christmas Carol and
I do too.
Scrooge's redemption and what it means. But I don't know, I just couldn't put it any higher because I really don't like the musicals, both of them.
Hmm.
I just don't think it adds anything to the story. I don't think the songs are good. I think that the Scrooge one, based on the movie, is a little bit better, but I still just I don't like it. So that brings it down quite a bit. I
Yeah.
just don't like the musical. But anyway, I've actually seen it 21 times. I've seen Christmas Carol
21 times.
21 times, yeah.
Oh
Because
my gosh.
it's
Which makes sense
so
because of Christmas, but like,
yes.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Holy
So
moly, 21
basically,
times.
I've seen Christmas Carol. It's been 5 years. I've basically seen it 4 times every Christmas.
Which I feel like you can even up that this year. I
Yeah,
can see you doing it 6 times.
yeah, I think so. I'm slacking off.
Come on, Rachel. What are we even doing here?
Uh, and yeah, the worst one was actually a production of the Scrooge musical. That oh man, it's bad. It's I won't say the company, but it's really rough. But the best is probably also at the Parker. They do
Yeah.
incredible things with their lighting and their sound. You saw it in Woman in
You
Black.
know, I
Like
love the Parker and I love the
it's
snacks.
yes, it's so fun, and so I think that's probably my favorite. Hale's it's Christmas Carol is also really wonderful. If you want a traditional Christmas Carol with traditional carols throughout, and that one's very, very, very well done. They've got it down. They've
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
like literally, I think on Saturdays they have I think 4 or maybe even 5 showings of Christmas Carol at Hill Center
Do they
Theater.
have
Like,
rotating casts?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's like, oh my gosh, they'd have to, but it's
it's
full exhaustion kicking in
it's
for people.
unbelievable. And so that's where I have it at number 17. I have the Addams Family. I've seen it 6 times since
That means you have seen full
I have.
disclosure.
And people who watch this show know that I really dislike the full disclosure number. It is so long and so boring. And so I just hate it. But it does have some nice
You know
stuff.
how there's that quote that hell is other people? Rachel's hell is full disclosure on a constant loop.
Yes. Yes. Uh, but I don't know. I feel like most of the versions I've seen have been pretty much the same. I can't think of one that was like horrible of the Addams Family. But the one that we saw at Hale, I actually saw that twice, was excellent. Very, very well done. I don't know how you could really do it any better.
Right,
I've
right.
also seen it done by high schools, and that's really fun. So I love supporting high school theater, and that's been one of the joys of these 700 shows is how much high school theater that I've seen.
Yeah.
I
And what
love
a
that.
gift too to get to see kids at this stage in their development.
Yeah. So then next at 16 is where I have Matilda, and I've seen it 9 times. I've seen Matilda 9 times. There was one summer I saw it 4 times in one summer. That was rough.
Well, because
I,
only I think it's
I was
only
like,
rough
I
for you
need a
because of
break.
the escapologist stuff. That's the only
Yeah.
reason it's rough for you. Because oh my gosh,
Yeah.
naughty, like oh my gosh, there's just so
There are some
it's
really, really
so many
good
good songs.
songs. And of course, the story is really
Quiet
sweet.
is like
And
beyond. I will never get sick of that
mhm.
song.
Yeah, it's just the escapologist stuff just really sinks the show for me. It's so
Yeah,
long, and like everything that you learn in that from the escapologist segments, you learn in the My House segment. They go over it
yeah,
all the major points. So
yeah.
it's like, why did we spend all of that time when you literally have a scene where you have all of that discussion? I just don't get it. I don't like it.
Yeah,
And
you know who else I've had this conversation with? Every girl I know that's either auditioned for or played Matilda who has to
yes.
memorize these monologues.
Yeah.
And it is like, whoa. I mean, Annie, little
Yeah.
orphan Annie, get out of here. Matilda's in town. Like, it is a
Yeah.
lot for kids to learn.
I saw an incredible production of Matilda though at Payson Community Theater. You would never guess that it was in at Payson High School. The quality of the singing, the performances, the sets, I mean, it was phenomenal. Absolutely incredible. And so that's the best one. I've never really seen a bad Matilda. I mean, they're always, like, I have my issues with the show itself, but I can't think of any production I've seen where I was like, oh, that was rough to sit through. Like, they were all pretty good. But yeah, I've seen that 9 times. Number 15 is actually where I have Shrek. Shrek the
Mm.
musical. I've seen Shrek 6 times. And when I first went to see it, this was at Murray Amphitheater. And I was kind of dreading it because I was just like, oh, I don't love the movie that much. I mean, it's fine. I like the movie, but I don't love it. And so am I gonna like this, this Broadway version? And I remember, I think that they performed, I didn't love the Tony performance. I know, I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
this isn't for me. And so then I went and saw it, and I had so much fun. I laughed my head off. I thought Farquaad was so funny. And I'm like, wow, that was a million times better than I expected it to be. And that night, this was an outdoor amphitheater, it was so hot. I swear it was 105 degrees outside. It was
Oh
so hot. And I
no.
was like, I do not know how those actors did it. And
The
Murray
I
Amphitheater, they often
what?
have like a full orchestra. It's really incredible.
I never know how there was one summer that I performed in amphitheater. It was in Ferdinand, Indiana. It was this show about Abraham Lincoln, and it was so hot that like we had people that were in um soldier uniforms. We
Mm.
had a girl that passed out on stage.
Oh my
It's like,
gosh.
good golly, Miss Molly, the it is a lot to perform
Yeah.
in that level of heat.
Yeah. And I don't think I've really seen like a terrible Shrek. Like I've seen ones that were better than others, but I mean, I think it's one of those shows that's pretty consistent, kind of like Matilda. But yeah, so that's number 15. Number 14 is actually a show I think is quite underrated, but it still ended up at 14. It's A Christmas Story. I've seen that 9 times. And because these holiday shows, I actually think the songs are really catchy. I like it a lot, and I mean I like the movie. It's one of those ones. If you don't like the movie, you're not gonna like this musical.
Right.
It's not gonna win
Right.
you over, because it's just the movie. It is. It's not like Beetlejuice where they really don't follow the movie at all. It is the movie with I think some really catchy songs thrown in there. So I enjoy it, but and I've enjoyed pretty much every version I've seen of it. I can't think of one where I was like, oh, that was rough. Uh, so yeah, that is my number 14. I'm trying to think what is the best A Christmas Story. Oh, there was one that wasn't my favorite that they uh they cast there was one they cast a girl to play Ralphie's brother.
Oh.
And like normally I'm okay with gender swapping, but like I'm sorry, it just made it feel like a little bit meaner, the way that they were
Yeah.
treating him, because it just did. Maybe it shouldn't, that because boys treating other boys, a certain way versus boys treating a girl a certain way feels like it reads different. So I
Yeah,
didn't love
yes.
that choice. That wasn't my favorite. And there were a couple other weird things in that production. So that would be my least favorite. But for the most part, I've enjoyed it. There for a long time, every year the Sierra Shell in Orem would do it, and they did a great job with A Christmas Story. You could see why they did it every year because it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
very,
it's a
very,
good
very good. The
classic.
quality of the set and everything. Number 13, I have Newsies. I've seen Newsies 9 times.
That's more than I would think you would have seen Newsies, but
Yeah, I
I
mean it's
guess
a
a lot.
very
It's a great
popular
show.
one to
Popular.
do.
Yeah.
I really, I mean, I have a lot of nostalgia for the movie. It came out when I was, I think, 12, 11, something like that. And I think they made all the right changes. I can't really think of like a bad Newsies that I've seen. I mean, there's just been some that have better, singing, dancing than others, but for the most
Yeah.
part, like it's pretty solid. And I'm trying to think the best Newsies that I've seen. Maybe it's Center Point. Center Point Legacy is just an absolutely incredible theater. I wish I could take you to one of their shows.
Yes.
They they just did Finding Neverland. Oh, it was absolutely magical. I saw it twice. It was so good.
Oh,
Yeah. And number 12 is actually where I have Little Women.
yes.
And this is another one where I do feel like the operatic tragedy sequences go on way too long, kind of like The Escapologist. But
Yes.
outside of that, I think it's a real fun show, and I love Some Things Are Meant to Be. I think that is an absolutely beautiful
So good.
song, and so I'm a huge Little Women was like the first big novel I ever read,
Yeah.
and so
And I think it's such a great, like, it's such a great story about sisterhood
mhm,
and pursuing your dreams. Like, it's a
yeah.
really beautiful story.
And Hale Center Theater, their Little Women was absolutely wonderful. Our friend Josh, he
Yes.
he was Professor Bear, so that was really good. I've seen Little Women 7 times. Then number 11 is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I've seen that 7 times, and I haven't really seen a bad Hunchback.
Yeah.
Sometimes the finale I have issues with, particularly when I don't like it when they show Quasimodo without the hump in the afterlife in the
Yes.
last sequence. I just think it's weird. Like the whole point
I
of the
think that's weird
musical
too.
is him coming to his own and thriving, even though people think he's a monster, right? And so
Yeah.
the big finale is him not being a monster. Like that doesn't
Yet
feel right to me.
that makes me really sad too, because it's like, okay, now it's one thing, okay, it's one thing in heaven and the afterlife, our pain will be taken away. Sure. But it's almost like this physical manifestation of like the thing that made him different. Like that makes
Yeah.
me really sad. That's kind of
Yeah, so I
heartbreaking.
don't like that. But still overall I just think it's a it has beautiful music. I think the story is obviously a classic story from literature. I think that they expanded upon the movie in ways that are really impactful as opposed to most, like we were talking about Little Mermaid, most of the Disney musicals, the expansions is terrible, like the new songs
Yeah.
and but they added to Frollo's character, give him some motivation with his brother, things like that I think make it much better than the animated film.
Yeah.
And so I really do like Hunchback of Notre Dame. I think that the last year at West Valley Arts, they had an incredible production of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And they had some really creative ideas. Like they had this actress playing the Mother Mary statue.
Yeah.
And the actors, including Frollo and Quasimodo, would interact with her, like not talk to her or anything. Well, I mean,
Right.
she wouldn't talk or anything, but I thought that was a really, really creative choice to have this like actual physical manifestation of the statues that he's talking to, not just the gargoyles, but this
Yes.
Mother Mary. I thought that was really interesting, and so that was probably my favorite of any of the Hunchbacks that I've seen. But they're it's a great, I really do like the show. And number 10 is The Drowsy Chaperone. I've seen that 8 times. And what's interesting about this show is one of the times that I saw it, they had, instead of the monkey, they had a bunny.
Oh,
And a bunny on a pedestal. And then I've never seen it with a bunny again. And I was like,
I
What?
wonder if they got permission from MTI or whoever licensed it to them to do that.
I mean, they must have, but
Yeah,
it, and because it's a show that keeps getting reformed and and so
right.
when I saw that, I was like, oh, is that a new edit that they saying is that you're supposed to do bunny instead of monkey? But then I literally just saw it last week, and no, back to monkey.
Back to
So
Bunny.
no,
Back to
but
Monkey. Yeah.
monkey, yeah. So that's weird, but it's a funny show, and it also has a nice heart to it. The idea of
Yeah.
carrying a Broadway tune in your heart when you're feeling blue, it's just a really lovely little message,
Also like a
and so.
star turn for whoever's playing that
The
lead
Man in the
character.
Chair, yeah. The best Drowsy Chaperone that I saw was at Hope Box Theater, which is a wonderful theater around here that they each of their productions, they have a Hope Box recipient who is fighting cancer, and they
Yeah.
do donations, plus they also give, some of the proceeds to they actively fundraise for the Hope Box recipient.
Beautiful.
It's wonderful. And what was super cool is I was actually there on the final night, which if you can be there for the final night of Drowsy Chaperone, I mean of if you can be there for the final night of Hope Box, they a lot of times, if possible, they have the recipient there,
Yeah.
it was particularly cool because they had the Hope Box recipient was a man, and they had him sit in the chair, it was a
It's
very very
beautiful.
meaningful, and it's a wonderful. Their productions are so quality.
Yeah.
I highly recommend checking out Hope Box, but. So I've seen that 8 times. Then number 9, I have Hades Town. I've seen it 7 times, and 5 of those are high school, and that the productions are just incredible.
Any
And I
juniors in
did see it
there
on
or all?
Broadway.
Okay, yeah.
So one of those is Broadway, and when I first saw it, I was kind of like, oh, I liked that, but it was a little. I mean, because I was expecting it to be like amazing. People had really built it up, to me. And so I was like, oh, that was good, but I wasn't particularly, excited about it.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing it with these high schoolers, and they just won me over to the 100%. I'm Team Hades Town now. And
Like,
incredible.
I
And
guess I love this.
when Orpheus, when he does turn around, it never fails to make me gasp. Every
It
time.
does always seem like a surprise, doesn't it?
It's just so devastating and so effective. And I mean, one of my favorites was we talked to Jordan Long and his production at Leahona, and them
Yes.
building this whole set with the afterlife being a subway station with an elevator. It was incredible. That was amazing. So then at number 8, I have Something Rotten. I've seen Something Rotten 9 times. So yeah, that's a lot.
It's so
And
funny. Such a funny show.
it is really funny. And I prefer when people do it, I prefer them to really go crazy with the musical theater references. Like, don't hold
Yes.
back. I want to
No,
see them.
don't hold
Boom, boom,
back.
boom, boom, boom. And it was interesting because I went with my dad to see it at Centerpoint, and he didn't love it. Like, I thought that he would like it more because he kind of likes that sort of silly comedy, kind of thing. And he didn't love it. And I think it was maybe too inside baseball for him. Like the jokes were a little too inside
Yeah.
musical theater for him in that production. But I don't I love it. I think it's so funny, and it got some catchy tunes.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And you just have a good time. You leave the
Yeah.
theater smiling.
And I think that production at Centerpoint was probably my favorite. But I don't think I've ever seen a bad Something Run. I really don't.
You're right. The
Um,
text itself just kind of elevates it.
mhm. Number 7 is The Music Man. I've seen it 7 times. It has a lot of nostalgia for me. I saw it with my grandma and my cousin, who now both passed away. I saw the Rebecca Luker revival back in 2000. She's of course passed away now, and so it just has a lot of nostalgia. I also saw it on Broadway. That's one of the 7s. I saw the Hugh Jackman,
Yeah.
Sutton Foster, and it's a moving story of redemption, and it has such
Yeah.
beautiful songs and fun songs. I mean, Trouble Will Never Not Entertain Me. I mean, what a fun time! And I think the best, most memorable production of Music Man that I saw, the Centerpoint Legacy, was absolutely great. But also, I saw it at Highland. It's called High Valley Arts, and it's in Midway, Utah, which is in the middle of nowhere. It was 4th of July weekend. They had a like literally like a platform, and then you just bring your folding chair, And the production was absolutely great. Very simple version, but the quality of the costumes and the choreography and the in literally the middle of nowhere, and it just felt cool on July 4th weekend to see it, and because it's
Yeah.
very Americana, you know. So that's
Yes.
very memorable. High Valley Arts is great. It's a drive for me. It's like an hour drive, but it's really fun. And so then my number six is Singing in the Rain, and I've actually seen this 10 times.
Oh my God, 10 times?
Yeah, I saw it 3 times at Hill Center Theater alone. I think it's the best thing they've ever made. It was absolutely magical. The quality of the singing and the dancing and I think that's a majorly underrated adaptation. It might be my favorite screen to stage. I mean, granted, they don't really change hardly anything. They really just like
Which is
adapt the
great.
movie. Yeah, which is great. There's one new song for for Lena, but I think it's actually a really funny song. It's a good song. But that's about it that they change. They keep almost everything else, and but it's just so funny and sweet, and the rain sequence is magical. Particularly in 2023, this was everywhere in Utah for some reason. Because I think probably because Hale did it, and
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
like, oh man.
yeah, and Hale can often be a trendsetter. You know, they'll do a
Yeah.
show and then people are like, ooh, they sold a lot of tickets to that, so they other people want
Should
to do
we do
it.
that?
Yeah. But I do really love Singing in the Rain. I think it's a wonderful show. Number five is She Loves Me. I've seen this 7 times. I absolutely love it. It was one of the first shows that I saw coming back. And I saw it at Pleasant Grove Players, the one in the library, and they
Yeah.
had a couple in real life playing our leads, and it's just so
That's fun too.
charming and funny. The songs are so good. I hope that they do a She Loves Me revival because we haven't had one since 2012, and you know the that one it has the pro shot's great, but you know a lot of people have issues with Zachary Levi and you know whatever. But I just think we need a new She Loves Me.
Bring it
It's
back,
time.
baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
time.
time.
It's so good. Number four, and I can't think of a bad She Loves Me that I saw, but they're
Mhm.
all good. Four is Pride and Prejudice. I've seen it 10 times, and I'm seeing it again tonight, so it'll be 11.
11.
And I mean, obviously, I love Pride and Prejudice. I love the story, but this version by Melissa Leone Larson, we interviewed her for OnStage blog. If people want to look it up, it's so good. It's so entertaining. It's so funny. It cuts enough to like make a clip along as a play, but it keeps all of the dialogue that you want, and the you know the Jane Austen is still there. It's not
Yes.
like that Emma I was telling you about that was like, what is this? Um, and it's wonderful. And I could just keep seeing it because I love Pride and Prejudice.
And in fact, you will again
Well,
this
I
evening.
will. Um, then number three is Legally Blonde, and I've seen it 6 times. And I absolutely love this show. I think it is so entertaining. I just love the songs. I think it's funny. I think it's romantic. I love her journey of kind of coming to her
Yeah.
own. And uh, I can't think of a bad Legally Blonde that I've seen. There's been better than others, but overall, I'm always going to be entertained by Legally Blonde the musical. And if you told me that when I first heard about it, I was like, oh no, that's gonna be terrible. And they pulled it off. It just shows with good writing, it it
Yes.
can be good.
And people
And
have so much fun with it. Like it is just joy. Joy, joy, joy.
yeah, it really is. Um, and I just think Lawrence O'Keefe, I really think that he is so underrated as far as he did the music and lyrics for this. And
Mhm.
I mean, just think that he did Bat Boy, which I loved, and
Yes.
Heather's the musical, which I also love.
So good.
I just haven't seen them as much. But all three of those are bangers.
Yeah. Yeah. They sure are.
They're
They are
really
bangers.
good. Like
Yeah.
he's never, I feel like he's not one of those ones that's like talked about as one of the
No,
current great composers, but I think he should be.
absolutely. Like earworms in the best way. You're like, oh, that's in
Yes.
my head. Like I
Like
love it.
all three of those are so catchy. They're so entertaining. They have such good songs, good story. Like he is incredible. So if you're listening, Lawrence O'Keefe, I'm a big fan of your work.
We love you.
Way to go. All right. Number two is Daddy Longlegs. I think this is a perfect musical. I just love the way their relationship builds and how entertaining it is. And the songs are so good. And I've seen it 11 times and I'm going to see it again in a couple
11
weeks.
times. And you've seen this with actual couples too, right?
Yes, I've seen it with actual couples, and one of those 11 times was actually during the pandemic. Hale Center Theater, Orem, and now called the Ruth. They did a Hale at Home with
Yeah.
Daddy Longlegs, and what a comforting thing to have during that horrible time to have a
Yeah.
live stream of a show about writing letters to each other and about like just the themes of the musical hit home so much, and it's such a favorite of mine. It's so charming so yeah, I love Daddy Longlegs. I could see it every literally. It's a show I could see every night and not tire of. That's how much I love it.
Oh my gosh. Every night though, like you're like,
I
yes, I
really
could do
could.
my
I
daily.
really
I
could.
love that.
I don't think that I could ever tire of Daddy Longlegs.
I
I
love,
just
and
I
you've seen it, you
really
said
don't.
11 times
I've seen it 11 times, yeah. In 5 years. I've
in
seen it
five
11
years.
times. Well, I guess one of those was during the pandemic, so
We
10
still
times
count
in
it.
5 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, number one for me is Bright Star.
Yes.
I've seen it 14 times. And I just love this musical. I think it is so, so underrated. I love the songs. I love the story. I can't think of a bad Bright Star that I've seen. There's been some better than others. Some learning companies have tried it and it's been, a little rough. But at the end, at the end of the day, it's a great musical. So it might, have some flat notes and some imperfect, choreography, but when your bones are that good, it doesn't really matter to me at least. And
Exactly.
the beautiful, beautiful romance and the message and of hope and forgiveness and is all there. And I just I could There's another one I could see it every day. I would never tire of Bright Stars. How much I
It is
love
a
it.
completely refreshing and delightful show.
It
Hopeful, like
is.
just gives you
Yes.
all those feel goods.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm trying to think the best Bright Star that I've seen. There was so many good ones. I saw Centerpoint Legacies. Theirs was wonderful, and they had actually an incredible Daddy Longlegs Centerpoint Legacy,
Mm.
it like tore my heart because they so I'm sitting there watching Bright Star, and then at intermission, this couple gets up in front of me and we're like, do you like this? No, I don't like it. And then they laughed and I was like, oh no,
No.
honey, I'm not. Like you see the baby get thrown from the train and you're like, okay, we're out of here. I'm like,
We're done.
oh
We're
man.
out.
Like
We
I
can't
think
do
I
this.
would want to stay just to find out what happened, to find the ending. Like I wouldn't want to leave on a cliffhanger.
I love the way they're
But
like, we're good.
I was just like, oh. But I absolutely love that show. I think it is perfection. So my one of my career goals is to try to convince Edie Brickell to come on the podcast. Edie, if
Yes,
you're
please.
listening, I've gotten her to respond to a couple posts on the Instagram, but I would love to talk to her and I just want her to know, her and Steve, I want them to know they made something that I really love,
Yeah.
you
That
know.
touched a lot of people.
So there we go. That's it. That is my 20 most seen shows for you. I don't think any of these were surprises to you. I
No,
mean,
none of them were
yeah.
surprises. No. And
Yes.
I'm so excited we got to talk about them because it really is the support that you've given for live theater is just unlike anyone I know. And I'm just so grateful that you've continued to spread the word and will continue to spread the word.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. And let us know what you think about these shows that we've talked about and I guess how you would rank them. And what do you think about the 700 shows and the community theater experience and all of that stuff? We want to hear in the comments section. And Jax, where can people find you?
Jacqueline Collier on Instagram.
And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews all over the place and rachelsreviewstheater.com. And make sure that you're following OnStage blog all over the place. So we have like daily articles on all kinds of theater topics. So you definitely want to make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter and all the social media and everything going on there. You can definitely check that out. If you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we would appreciate that. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye.
Bye.